Somehow, my daughters fell in love with Formula One. I don't know how or why, but I'm not arguing. They may not know wheel, but does anyone?
Welcome to We Don't Know Wheel. Get in, babies. We're going to multiple Grand Prix winners in one season. Let's do it. I'm not with just sisters today. Introduce yourselves.
Hello. Back at it again. I'm surprised every week. It's Shelly and I'm here again. So let's go.
Real sister here, Sarah. Can't get rid of me.
Shelly's a real sister. She makes the reels.
Oh, that's good. Yes, that's me.
Shelly's a producer, writer,
Yeah.
commentator, the Triple Crown.
Triple Crown.
Shelly.
I'm your social media manager and I
Yeah.
handle all the deals. So
She handles my day-to-day life.
Deals.
they don't pay me enough, guys.
We've already talked about your 25% cut of our profits.
Oh, yeah. Well, I do recall, I thought earlier in a pod, I'd asked for you to sign all the rights of the company to me.
Stop.
But we'll come back on that. We'll circle back.
Wait,
How
okay.
are button sales doing?
I've not sold a single one, but if you want one, send us a message on Instagram and I'll send it to you. And all you have to pay is shipping.
Yes, send a message. And guess what? We are on TikTok. So go there. I'm sort of like in charge of that. So
Shelly's the TikTok manager.
I may or may not put out maybe more spicy things in terms of like more sharp topics from a clip from our pod.
Not where I thought spicy was going.
Yeah,
I thought you were going
to
like Sarah's reading materials.
Yes. So catch us on TikTok, different content. Hopefully we don't get bullied by the Logan girls. So
the Logan girlies. That was my favorite part of the last podcast, was just Sarah being like, I fear the Logan girlies. And what did you say? That you were like, they're near us, they're American,
they're in our backyards.
Yeah.
And you should fear them too.
We should all fear the Logan girlies. They really are on a tear. Like, and then also though, I fully like respect and love their sad edits for Logan, because like I'm sad for him too, but I'm also not like, he should have everything he desires.
I think I get a little bit annoyed about the Logan stuff because it's okay, maybe it's because my algorithm leans on the American side of things because I live in America, but I'm like, there are other drivers who are doing just as poorly, who have just as sad of stories, and I'm not seeing any edits. For example,
I wonder about
Joe Guan sweatshirt.
But maybe we're just not in the, like, you're not getting the Joe edits.
That's what I'm wondering. I mean, I do get Joe reels.
I love Joe reels.
I do too.
But I don't get edits.
And yeah, I feel like either he doesn't have the same kind of fan base making those edits, or I'm not getting them because maybe he has a bigger Chinese fan base. I don't know.
I feel like I get people saying they love his fashion. I feel like even the commentators in this week's, I was going to say episode, race, were very like, he's really struggled with this car. They were kind of feeling for Joe a little. They were like, he's having a rough one. And then he got hit by Fernando. That was incredible. I was like, what's happening?
I think I missed that. I think I was scrolling.
She watched the 30-minute. It was so good.
I watched the whole race, but I totally zoned out in the middle, like probably laps 20 through 50.
Oh, me too. I watched after my 24-hour shift and I was just like half asleep. And then I was like very intensely woken up to see like George is in the lead. And I was like, what has happened? And then I just turned it off and went to sleep. And then I slept for like 4 hours, woke
Cliffhanger.
up and finished the race. Because when I turned it on, I thought I was leaving work. It was like 7 a.m. And I thought, perfect. I'm going to get like halfway in this race. I'll see the last half. No, I pressed play and it's just George's face. And I could tell he was on top of the podium. And I was like, no. I was like, what just happened? And then it kind of made it more interesting because I watched the whole race being like, when does this change? Does George not win? It feels like he wins.
Yeah,
You
right
mean
at that
Max?
last.
No, because I was like, I thought I saw George on the top of the podium, but I don't feel like he looks like he's gonna win
How
this
would that
race.
even be possible?
Well, yeah, I'm like in the 58th lap, and I'm like, there's like a 13-second distance between him and Lando.
We're living in
Yeah.
another dimension. This is like split off from the dimension where Max has taken P1.
Obsessed. I love this dimension.
Yeah, I agree. It's so much fun.
Yeah. Yeah. Can't believe Carlos got on the podium.
And no one was talking about it. Literally not like a single word about it.
I want to hear from Shelley about the Charles of it all. I saw someone be like, he
Charles.
broke the Monaco curse, but for what? And I was like, what's kind of true?
Well, lately, I will say things have shifted in terms of just me really watching and being a little bit more focused on Oscar than Charles. But I know Charles has been struggling.
You're
it's
a
hurt.
fair weather friend.
Yeah, well,
She's
they're
like,
they're
what happened to
family.
Charles
I'm
today
keeping
again?
it in the family. No, well, Charles is just a sad weekend. And it was funny because there's, if you guys recall, a point in the race where their Ferrari was like, Charles, you got this. We can still win
Yeah.
points
I was
today.
like,
He
big
was
lies from Ferrari.
P19. I was like, I believe you. I want this. And honestly, I think was P12 by the end, which
Is not points.
Nothing.
he was close. That's my piece, and that's all I will say. So
Oh, Charles. He does, like, it's hard to tell too. Like, I feel like it's a mix of bad luck, but also maybe a bit of a funk.
yeah,
Because he's
I
had
think
so many like incidents that
Maybe-
lead to,
he can't shake it.
Maybe-
he just can't shake it.
yeah.
Maybe if he
What's,
smiled more, he would find more success.
He
Okay, wait.
smiles with his eyes.
I didn't get to finish your last episode, so if you already talked about this, stop me. But who saw the unhinged letter about Leo?
We talked about this in the last
Yep, the last 5
episode.
Okay,
minutes.
sorry. Maybe that's what's
Yeah.
throwing him off his game. Is he's like, everyone thinks that I'm not taking care of Leo.
I'm a bad dog dad.
No, I think it's just the feel of the car. He's missing it, and when he gets it, he crashes into people.
Well, he had damage, right?
Did-
Was it him?
He
Yeah.
had damage
Oscar?
after Oscar and him. Also, like,
Yeah,
why
so
is
his
the
race
Ferrari
today was like very much compromised.
The Ferrari is always fragile, though. It's always like,
Yeah.
you touched me.
I think
Meanwhile,
all
Fernando
F1
like
cars are
can run.
fragile.
No, but Fernando and then Aston Martin will like hit you and be like, whatever.
Joe was
He
fine.
gets air.
Do
Yeah.
you think it's a difference in the cars, or do you think it's a difference in the drivers?
You know, I don't know the answer, and it's an interesting question, Sarah. I do feel like I don't think the Ferrari is in a very good spot right now. I was gonna say, I feel like usually when Carlos is like really in tune with the car, Charles is not. And when Charles is in tune with the car, Carlos is not. But they do flip-flop like that.
Mhm. They do.
Yeah.
But it seems just slow overall. There were so many times when Carlos, like you could tell he was like fighting, like he would try to overtake, and then you'd see him like get on the accelerator, and it would be like he went nowhere. Give
Yeah.
them
You
nothing.
would see that.
Yeah. You would just see like the other car just be like, bye. And he would be like way behind them. And you're like, what's happening?
That's how I feel in my Subaru.
Yeah, my car too.
That's what he looked like. What's going on with that Ferrari?
Yeah. Okay, but did you see the clip of Fred and Toto after the race? That was
Did they hug?
incredible. Yeah, they hugged and then they
An
walked
embrace.
down like the whole pit
Fred
wall hugging.
literally loves everyone.
He was like giving Fred a shoulder massage.
Fred is the Daniel Ricciardo of the team principals.
I think you might be
That's
right.
right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, let's maybe go back to the sprint. I didn't really watch.
Oh.
I caught like the tail end, so I had to go to the highlights. But Grace, you
I watched it,
saw everything.
but I really couldn't tell you what happened.
I
Who
watched it
won?
too. I watched it too.
Verstappen won, and did Norris get second, I think?
Mhm.
And nothing that interesting happened, honestly. Sarah, what
George,
happened?
I think Oscar got third.
Did
Again, the McLaren boys, they were going wheel to wheel. A lot of McLaren
Yes.
fighting, and then
There was,
people were
like-
like, Oscar should give Lando the place back, or
That was a big point.
that was a big
Yeah.
point. Because
Yeah.
maybe Oscar got second and
'Cause-
Lando got third.
When I think you're right, because Verstappen and Lando were fighting. Lando like made to pass Verstappen. Then Oscar was like, I'll go through here.
Mhm.
Through
And
goes
then
Oscar.
yeah, through goes Oscar. And then actually Verstappen took it back. And then it was Verstappen, Oscar, Lando.
Yeah, I think
Or-
there was a lot of discourse from the Lando girls about all of this and how Oscar.
It's also funny because I do feel like Oscar of all the drivers is the most just like, okay. Like he's not
Mhm.
fighting with anyone. Maybe people are fighting with him, but he's like, I had no idea.
He's very unproblematic.
He's he is.
He is.
He is. I agree. So I feel like trying to create beef with him, like he's Teflon. Like it's just sliding right off.
So when it came to qualifying, and for me, the biggest event of Oscar's penalty, I went into darkness. I was like,
the
this.
fact that
Yeah,
he did not get driver of the day is just
Yeah.
like I don't understand it.
There's something going on with Lando's fan base that's like he's winning every
flooding.
time. They're flooding the voting. Absolutely. Yeah. He had a good drive today, but then also I think that they cut the vote off like a few laps before the finish. I don't
That's
even
true.
know if Max and Lando had contact yet.
No, I think they had because usually it's still like 10 minutes left. You can still vote.
I went in to vote for Oscar on like, I don't know, lap 68 or 69.
And it was
And
cut
it was
off.
like Lando is the driver of the day.
I feel like conspiracy.
Yeah, I don't know the answer
Yeah,
either.
this is insane. Lando got 24% of the vote, Max got 16, and Oscar got 10%. George Russell got 6%. So he's not activating his fan base. I feel like if you're a non-Max winner, you maybe should win driver of the day.
But he didn't have time to. This is what I'm saying. There was literally not, it was like the vote had closed before he was in the lead.
I don't think that's true.
Also, he won by default, basically. I know that's not true. That's not
That's
true.
You're
true.
saying the quiet part out loud.
I'm
Sarah.
saying what Oscar said. That was why you won the race.
I'm quoting Oscar's words, not my own.
It's not that I'm not delighted for George. I'm delighted.
Well,
More about Oscar's penalty.
so it sent me kind of into this black hole, and I was just like, this is terrible. And I went deep into the lore. I just needed some good Oscar vibes. I watched his like Prema like videos on YouTube. I'm just this is just
With him and
between
Arthur
us,
Leclerc.
right? Arthur and
This doesn't leave the Zoom.
yeah, this stays here. And I watched Logan, so I kind of like I all of that Logan and Oscar is that's
Yeah.
deep history. So I was like, okay, like I see what happened there. And then I went through kind of like the highlights of his P2 years, and like obviously they're like young boys, but I'm like, Oscar does not, I don't hear any of this on his now radio. I'm saddened. Something happened. I don't know if
You
it's
think
Mark
he
Webber.
used to be spicier?
He used to speak his mind. Now he's more chill. I like
Mm.
that too, but I'm like, oh, okay, he's definitely more mature. I don't even know. But then I did rewatch last night the guitar race, and I was like, this maybe is just going to keep me happy for tomorrow, because he's obviously not going to be able to get up. I don't know. This is so sad. He's so far down. And then when they crashed, Max and Lando crashed, I said, this is it. Because I watched the Qatar race last night, I sent good vibes to Oscar. He's now going to P1. I was so sad when he was so behind George. It was fine. And
I was surprised
yeah.
he didn't. I don't know. I feel like when I was watching, I think qualifying or maybe the sprint race. I think the sprint race. It was definitely the sprint
He was
race.
really
The
racy.
commentators, he was racy, and then when he passed Norris, he kind of was like, okay. And the commentators are like, he kind of does that.
Yeah.
Like, he'll be really racy, and then he'll just like vibe out for a while. Like, he didn't make any attempt to pass Verstappen after that.
He's
Yeah.
a highly sensitive person.
Yeah.
He's got a little maybe stimulus sensitivity issue or something.
He's got
When
a
he-
stimulus issue.
When he overtook Carlos in the race, that was good. Like, we have to all say that was a very good, like, after that I was convinced he was going to reach George, and
I know, that's the
take it
thing. He
all.
does that. Like, he
Yeah,
looks like
yeah.
he's just like, let me get out there and then give
Yeah.
them
He's
nothing.
like, oh, I'm done.
I'm done. I
This
made my
I hope you're
pass.
hungry.
Yeah.
Or
Or
nothing.
nothing.
My last piece about it, and this is maybe just not that interesting, but I have to say it, was for some reason during the qualifying, I'd gone to Oscars because I'm like, oh, he got P3, this is good. So I went to his like individual, and then he had parked, and I heard live like, it's not happening. And his like, what
did he say?
He was like, wait, what? No, like what? It was just so heartbreaking. And I'm like, I was hearing it live, and I'm like, this is like just insane what they do with the cameras and all this content live, that you're like literally experiencing it at the same time the driver is. I don't know. It was very crazy. And so that, I think that really started the spiral for me. But all in all, he got P2 this weekend. Love that.
Kind of at the loss of Charles for you.
Yeah, I mean, they did hit in that first corner, so I just looked away, and then
Yeah, how do you feel
We
about
kind of-
those two fighting? It's not Carlos and Oscar
it's
anymore.
not often. This is like the first time. I don't take this as anything.
Maybe
That's what I'm
a little bit symbolic of what's going on internally with Shelley,
Yeah,
Charles, Oscar, kind of battling it out there.
who knows what will happen. Checo was in the mix too, so he was also
Okay, yeah.
In the mix for what?
Since
that
Anna's not
crash, in that
here, let's
crash.
talk about Checo in it all.
not in the race.
I'm sorry, but like part of me is like, Carlos is literally holding out hope for a Red Bull seat, that he was told like, well, we gave Checo a contract, but we may make it so he's not driving. He might be like a development driver.
But they just gave him the contract.
I know, but like,
Wait,
They're not-
where are your
Why would you
sources?
do the
no, that's my
work of
sources is
doing a
my
contract?
mind.
Grace is your
Delusion.
source.
Delusion is my source, and it's telling me that Carlos is holding out for Red Bull. Like someone on Red Bull, Helmut Marko pulled Carlos aside and was like, we are giving Checo the contract, but I don't want him to have it. And if he does poorly, like you can be our driver. I
Helmut
swear to
Marko
God.
is messy. He would
Yeah.
absolutely do that too.
Yeah. You know he
He would
would.
be like, we had to give him the contract. I
Also,
don't want him to have it.
stop the Trump
my Helmut
accent for
Marko.
Helmet. Here's I feel like I just saw Carlos give an interview where he was like, I've learned not to trust anyone in F1, or like I have a very select group of people who I trust or something. I think I might be on Carlos's side with this. And now I'm like Toto made that statement where he was like, Mercedes, we love Carlos, but we're not giving him a seat. And I'm like, I don't believe anything you say. Everyone told me that, oh, Lewis isn't going to Ferrari. Lewis is going to Ferrari. Like, we'll see where the chips fall.
Mm.
I'm just saying.
It's not over till it's over.
Yeah. That was George. He was just full of embarrassing
He
statements
was happy.
today.
Bippity boppity boo.
It was
Did he
cringe.
say that?
He did.
No, he said
Some
yabba dabba doo.
Flintstone.
And if you haven't had the ick from George already, you've got it now, folks.
Standing on top of the car?
He can't stop doing it. It's like, you've got to let it go, George.
It's his good look charm. I don't know.
He is like an old English man, though. Like
He really
the
is.
accent, the everything. Is someone like coaching him on that, or is that true, George?
Let us know.
What do you mean, is someone coaching him
Like,
on
is
that?
someone like,
You
well,
think he has an old
actually,
man coach?
yeah, I think that I think he has someone who's like, actually, to be successful on social media, you need like a hook, and your hook is old English posh man.
Your
Stick
hook
in your
is
lane.
Yabba dabba doo.
Lando has hot Englishman. You have old
Yes.
Englishman. That audience is yours.
Yes, I swear.
Get in the aviation suit. Put the little bonnet on.
Wait, this week Toto wasn't he in the sailing? Yeah, that was insane.
That was wild.
I love to learn about the new extreme sports from F1. I wouldn't know about them otherwise.
I just like the Red Bull Instagram channel because they're always getting their athletes to do the craziest stunts.
Yeah.
They're like, let's get these drivers to drive semi trucks around the inside of a grocery store and see if they can knock down all the aisles.
There's a comment, Grace, that you had made, I think a while back. I don't know if it's on the pod or off, but you would like one of the challenges between Charles and Carlos was like the ping pong ball into the cup. And you're like, what is their budget? And after that, I cannot unsee it. All of their challenges, I'm like, wait, what is this?
It's like printer paper that they've taped up somewhere.
Like, what is going on? Why?
It's like Haas level budget. And the only time they do anything fancier, it's like so overtly sponsored. Like I just watched a TikTok or a reel from Tony Cohen Brown. Is that her name? She does like F1 content stuff. And she was talking about like how Red Bull does their content so well because they will never like, there's no selling. There's just being like, look at my lifestyle. And I'm like drinking a Red Bull or I'm like wearing their merch, but like you want this lifestyle. You want to live like me and be like wild and adventurous. And Ferrari is literally like, hi, I'm Charles Leclerc and I love V Shell Power. Let's do an interview where I tell you why me and my teammate are so great together and work together really well, just like me and V Shell Power. And you're like, could it get any cringier?
Yeah, unfortunately, it's just like, yeah, their budget is zero.
Their budget is Haas
give us
budget.
nothing.
It's a great
negative.
reminder that you can make engaging content without any budget for us specifically.
I think that's actually kind of true because I do actually love the C2 content where they're just in an office and they're being like, you
Yeah.
have to pack a suitcase. You need to put together these wooden dinosaurs. What does this have to do with F1? Nobody knows.
Nothing.
Take 5 pictures on this DSLR.
Yes. Oh,
It's
anyways.
I think steak
Steak.
is really capitalizing on that too. Like they feel like they're just like, okay, we have these 2 drivers, just like, hang out. We'll take some pictures of you. And then they get Valtteri to do like a TikTok trend.
Yeah, they're making him do ridiculous, incredible things. So his social following, I think, is going up.
What
So
happened with Aston Martin though? Because I feel like last year their social media was like incredible. They were doing
Lots
so
of
much good stuff with
Fernando
Fernando,
content.
and now it's all fallen off. Did Lance go to his dad and be like, why is Fernando getting more likes on TikTok?
I wonder if it's related to their performance on the track, actually. Like, is
It
it
can't
that
be
they're
funny.
well, no, like I don't follow the Aston Martin Instagram, so the only way I would see their content is if it shows up just in my algorithm. So I wonder if they're just getting less engagement because they're not doing as well at the races.
That seems crazy.
It does seem crazy because Stake is literally like the lowest
Yeah.
team in the championship.
And they get tons of engagement.
I don't know. Maybe Fernando's just not having it this year.
Maybe Stake stole the social media manager from Aston Martin. Because I do feel like they had someone over there who was really good at social media. And I don't know if they've just dropped off or what.
Yeah. That's what you don't realize is that like all of the other roles in the team, they're not like going season by season. They're changing all the time. There was that video of like Alex shoving their social media guy in the
Mhm.
the river. I don't know. But I was like, oh yeah, because it's not necessarily like the same people running the social media through one season. I mean, I'm sure there's more than one person on that team, but it is weird to think about like how that could change their like media presence through a season.
Yeah. Okay. Tell me what you thought of DC's commentary this weekend. Because he was just like all over the place. I feel like he was really like full old man, but in a good way, where he was just like saying what was ever on his mind with little regard. And I liked it.
I don't think I was really paying attention.
I wasn't either.
You disappointed me, both of you.
I was too focused on the race.
Yeah. I will say though, is it Alex Jakes?
Yes.
He's really won me over. His
Okay.
commentary at the very end about George Russell winning was like actually so good.
What did he say
I
that
don't
you
remember
liked?
what it was.
Stop. Okay.
You have to
Here's
stop doing that.
I actually have something to say about Alex Jakes. I think he is Esteban's like backer because he was out here constantly calling Pierre like the second most successful Alpine driver or like the second best qualified Alpine driver and was constantly like talking up Esteban.
Huh.
I missed a little bit, but I'm sure you heard that. Especially when they were fighting. I think the thing I heard was just Esteban making enemies, and I'm like, this poor guy.
They're fighting on
doing it
track
to
was
himself.
wild.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's making me think about, I think Esteban kind of drives like Max drives, but without the success. So everyone hates him.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that Lando knows that to be the next Max, he has to start driving like Max did when he first started like winning.
Yeah.
And I think Max is like, what? It's literally just a repeat of like Max and Hamilton.
Exactly. Max is now Lewis. Max is the dominant one who's at the front, who's
like, he's driving so unfair.
He's dive bombing me.
Mhm.
He's trying to pass me. He's trying
That's
to
not
pass
how you
me at the
pass.
last second in the corner.
That's not how you're supposed to do it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, they're supposed to see the blue flag, and then I move over, and then he passes me. That's how I pass people. He's waiting for his blue flag.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I guess we're kissing that friendship goodbye. I feel like it's too early. I still think
Yeah.
they'll be just fine, but
I think they have time. I think they have time to ruin this friendship.
yes.
I hope they don't, but I think they do.
I think they might.
Oh,
Would be fun though if Lando was really in contention for the
Yeah.
championship.
I cannot. Also, like, I was really sad that Lando was totally out of that race. I kind of like I'm obsessed with Max being like, I'll still take 7th and I'll take those points. Or 5th, whatever
Yeah.
he was in. He took
He
those points.
got a much bigger advantage with the way
Yeah.
it played out than if they had been P1 and P2.
Yeah. Also, did Max still outscore Checo?
yeah. There was that comment at the end that was like, "Where is Checo? He's not even here. If there's no Max, Red Bull is in trouble." They threw that at the end, and I'm like, that's harsh and true.
But
Sorry,
it's
Anne.
true. Sorry,
True.
Anne.
Sorry, Anne.
You're
Love
listening,
you,
and
Anne.
yeah,
I'm
sorry about
sorry to tell you, but Carlos is coming for your man's seat.
that, says Grace.
I'm
That's great.
serious.
P10? Well, okay, actually I don't know who was in P10, but Danny was in
P9.
P9.
Is that true?
Oh,
And
missed
maybe
that.
Gasly was
Hulkenberg.
P10. I don't know.
Hulkenberg?
7.
P7.
Yeah.
I think Checo was 8, if I'm
Yeah,
remembering
I think
correctly.
they were saying how Nico was in front of Checo.
Yeah, Nico was in front of Checo in an incredible twist of fate. Love to see it. Shout out to our dad, who's #1 Haas fan. I'm
#1
sure he
Haas
was
fan.
very excited about that.
Yeah. How can he not be so good for Haas?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Even if you say you're not a Haas fan.
If you're an American,
No,
you're a little bit of a Haas
I don't
fan.
think that's when Gunther was there, yes, maybe. Now I'm like,
Oh,
I think I'd like enjoy rooting for an underdog. So if Haas is doing well, I'm like, good for you. Good job, you
Mhm.
guys.
No one likes a winner.
Oh, let's just briefly, like, I'm devastated for Williams. When does the improving performance start to happen?
who knows?
It was really bad. It was really bad.
I
Maybe
did
that's why
like
they're keeping Logan around, because there's like no use having a really
spending.
expensive
Yeah.
driver if your car is not so good yet or very bad.
Well,
And Alex is really good, and I'm sure Logan's giving helpful feedback too, but I know Alex is like really in that world. That's like how he does his thing. I don't know. I'm like, maybe they're just like, yeah, we're working with Alex to develop the car. We've got another cheap driver who's like doing his best. I know this is really sounding horrible.
the Logan girlies
But I
are
kind of get the
coming
logic.
for
It's giving-
you.
I hear them.
James Vowell's logic. I get it,
Yeah,
This is
they don't have
from
any money.
James.
He's like, we lost one of the chassis. We got to give the good one to Alex. He's like he's so intellectual about everything. No use getting Carlos Sainz if he's going to be in a horrible car and you're spending all your money on a driver instead of developing a better car.
Yeah. I do think, like, I don't know. You heard that whole commentary about, like, should Carlos go to a team for 2 years or should he go to a fast team for 1 year?
Mm-hmm.
I'm for the 1-year contract. I don't know if
Mhm.
it seems like he's maybe not, I don't know where that source is from, but I feel like he's maybe wanting something longer term until
Yeah,
Yeah.
didn't he
Audi's
say he
ready.
was like looking for a home?
Yeah. And I
Yeah.
think like
He's looking for a
Valtteri has talked
home.
about that, about how when you feel more secure, you can drive a little differently. And like that can be a huge benefit. But honestly, I think that Carlos maybe does better when he's in
under a little pressure.
Yeah. He needs the pressure.
Send that to him in the DMs. He needs
He's
to
like
hear
Daniel.
this.
He needs somebody to be talking about why does he even have a seat anymore? And then he's gonna win a
Do you think
race.
so? Because I actually think the opposite with Daniel. I think Daniel
Yeah,
thrives in like a warm and fuzzy
I
environment.
think so
And
too.
when he knows that people are doubting him, then he doubts himself and he does worse and worse. But when
I
he's
don't know.
like,
That's what happened in Canada,
everyone's
though.
Mm,
I don't
maybe,
know.
but he's with Red Bull. Like, I honestly think he's like, you know, under an umbrella of Red Bull, and I think he wants to make a home there. So I think that's covering him enough right now ish.
Yeah. I wonder
Mhm.
if he is also like, I mean, people keep speaking about Checo, like, oh, he brings in so much money to the team, but like, I assume Daniel Ricciardo brings in a lot of sponsorship opportunities.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
believe that.
hmm
He's
Yeah.
everywhere, so
Beloved worldwide.
Yeah. I love it. I'll take 14 of them right now.
I love it.
I think it was this race. I didn't hear it. I don't know if you want to talk about Yuki
Oh, it wasn't the race, was it
or this weekend. Was it?
it was this weekend. I think
Okay.
it was during qualifying. He said the R word
He said the R word.
and he got fined 40,000 euros.
Oh,
And then was
I
like,
totally
oh,
missed
I'm
that.
so sorry. I didn't realize the context of this word and I shouldn't have said it. And I think the FIA was like, we appreciate your candor and apology, and you can have 20,000 euros off that fine.
I didn't
Which
know
I kind
that.
of like that. I like that they were like, okay, you're still getting fined, but a little bit less. Also, what are
Half.
these guys' lives that they can pay a $40,000 fine? I know they're rich, but like,
Yeah.
is Yuki rich? That rich?
Red Bull-ish money.
I
I don't
mean,
know.
is
V-carb
anybody's
money.
contract less than 1 million a year?
Yes. Yes.
Logan.
Yeah, I think Logan's is like 100,000. I think Logan's
That's why Williams is keeping him around. This only further solidifies my previous argument.
Oh. Sorry, Logan girls.
He's financially secure. Well, for the team. I don't know about Logan.
No.
I think he comes from a rich family. I have no idea about that.
You don't know that.
No idea. Also, just so you know, like all the things that say like what are the drivers' salaries, I think they're all just guessing. They don't
They're
really
fake.
know.
I think,
They're
yeah,
fake.
that's definitely true.
Mm.
Okay, when I'm looking online, people are like a little under a mil.
Yeah, he's fine. He will be fine.
I think they're all fine. Because what are they paying for?
I think do you think that they pay for their travel to the races?
No.
No. Teams cover it. But I think then you have to take like team travel. Like I think you're in commercial. You're in
You think they're paying for their
economy.
private jets?
Yeah, I do. Or they're using their sponsorships to pay for them.
Yeah, 100%.
Max owns his jet.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, Taylor.
He really is the Taylor of the F1 world. I don't
Yeah.
think he schemes enough to be the Taylor of the F1 world.
No, I don't think so. No.
Okay. Yeah, 1 mil. Logan and Yuki. Daniel, 7 mil. I would be so mad if I was
Oof.
Yuki.
Yeah.
How old is
yeah.
this? 3 months ago.
Yikes.
Fernando and George, 18 mil. Carlos, 12 mil. My boy's getting ripped off.
That's not enough. That's not enough money for him.
Mm.
He needs
Give him more money.
What's he gonna do with that, you guys? He's
He can't
hungry.
retire on 12 mil.
Oh,
Well, 12,000 a year.
Anything else to note?
I liked this race. I also liked that in the middle they were like, nothing's going on, so we just have to watch the Alpine boys fight it out, even though we all know they should not be fighting.
I was
That's how
definitely
you pay for get your sponsorships. You got to fight on the track a little. That was so funny.
to Sarah's comment last episode. I was like, is Netflix going to make a whole episode for Alpine out of this? I don't want to see it. That's what I was thinking. I'm like, they're gonna
Yeah.
put
It
this in a
better be
two-parter.
a single
Mhm.
episode. I do not want 2 episodes about this. They can do a
No,
whole
there's too
episode
much
about
other interesting stuff going on this
Yeah.
season. Let's be honest.
Yeah. They can do a whole episode about Lando and Max. And I would
Yes,
watch that.
anytime.
And please cut to like their childhood karting days. And then they should do a whole episode on Williams and like the rebuild and the XL of it all and the single chassis.
A single episode for Charles for Monaco.
Yeah, he will have
Yes,
that.
he needs that.
Yeah, definitely. I think maybe during the off season, we should do a pod episode where we each pitch Drive to Survive episodes.
Okay, I'm in.
Great.
I'm in.
Or during summer break.
Yeah, which is
Is summer
hopefully
break coming up?
quickly approaching. Oh my gosh. I can't
After
do this for that
Silverstone?
long. We get a
Great.
1-week break and then it's Hungary and then Belgium and then it's summer break. And then it's off for like
Okay.
a month.
It's the European circuit. They're all in their motorhomes doing caravan style travel.
Yeah.
Love it. Are you guys excited for Silverstone?
No.
Me neither.
Are you,
Everyone's
Shelley?
favorite track, and I don't get it.
This is again my kind of first year really watching the races. So I'm still like, yeah, I'm not familiar with the tracks. Netflix doesn't cover that too well other than Monaco. So
This isn't in
I'm
my
learning.
syllabus.
So I'm just learning as we go, and I'm like, okay, yeah. I mean, I know Silverstone is one of the top, or is it like the biggest and the most kind of expensive flash? Well,
Is it? I don't think it's the most expensive, but I think it is
Maybe
expensive.
highest
It's up
It's one of
there.
the oldest.
Sure. Maybe
think-
that's it.
One could maybe say oldest consecutive on the schedule, perhaps.
Mm.
I know, but I think Monaco's like trying to elbow its way in there because I think like the first official
Oh.
F1 race was Silverstone. We're gonna get comments about this.
Yeah.
But then I think
hope so.
Monaco, they were
Tell us
racing.
we're wrong. We
at-
don't care. We
Yeah.
love being
Tell us we're
wrong.
We don't know, Wheel. I think they were racing at Monaco like before F1.
That
I think
in,
that's
like,
right.
F1.
absolutely
Yeah.
correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's right, folks.
There it is. Check our
Put it on the
sources.
Wikipedia. You
Okay.
can quote us.
Let me ask you this. Are you intrigued? I feel like Austria and Silverstone are both definitely like camping races. Like you go and you camp by the track and then you go to the race. Pro or con, people? Would you do it? I felt like the hostel was campy enough for me and I was kind of like, this is really a vibe. But I think if we talked to Dad, he'd be like, that's real racing. Like you just drive up, throw a tent out in the parking lot, sleep in your tent, go to the racetrack. Like, I think that's authentico.
Maybe it
Arrivederci.
See- I could see getting into it, but it would be like a very different experience. Like I would be like, the mindset is camping.
Mhm.
I gotta pack different outfits. I'm not gonna look cute.
I think
That's
I'm
different
in,
for me.
and you wear
I
your
always
like
look cute.
hunter's rain boots and
Right.
it's a real like Glastonbury vibe.
Exactly. It's a Glastonbury vibe. Yeah.
I think also I'm really like, I think I'm maybe more of an RV camper at an F1 race. I'm staying in Joe's trailer. He has that
Where do
loft
you
bed.
eat if you're camping? Are you eating camping food?
I don't know. You're just
Are
eating
you
like
eating hot dogs on
you're
a fire?
eating like sausages and beer from the track.
Right.
You're getting
That would be tough for
treats.
me.
Yes.
Where are you doing
Yeah.
your ones and twos? Are you
It
outhousing
does.
it?
I feel like, do you remember when we went to Eau Claire's like a long time ago? I feel like it would be
Mhm.
like that, which is to say, like, you are in a farmer's field and they have a very small outhouse for like 600 people
Yeah, with the pigs in the mud with the pigs.
in the mud. I think maybe in Austria you're
Yeah,
not in the
I
mud,
think
but at
you're right.
Silverstone, you're definitely in the mud.
You're definitely in the mud.
Yeah, I
It's
just
it's kind of a tough
imagine
sell for me.
our Montreal experience, but camping, like
No,
literally,
it's a no.
it's too much. It's kind of too much.
I think you need to be
It's
like on drugs for it to be enjoyable. I didn't say
Yep,
I
no.
was going to. I think
it would be like an overstimulation kind of nightmare,
Yeah.
I think.
It would be, I'm
It
watching
would.
the race from right here in my bed because
In my
there's
sleeping
too
bag.
much going out there. I'm staying here in my tent.
there's no cell phone service because there's too many people. And
Yeah.
it's like
So
the
you-
networks are overloaded.
It's crazy. So I think that's a
Yeah.
no for me.
If I know anything about Shelley, it's that she's a glamping girl, not a camping
She
girl.
I think Shelly and I should go to Singapore and stay at like the Sands Hotel and, do it right.
I'm in. I was after seeing rewatching Guitar, I was like, oh, a night
You'd go to
race.
Qatar?
That would be fun. Like I
Yeah.
think that would be a
Race.
vibe. Yeah.
I
You know
would-
why they do it at night? Because
'Cause it's
it's
so hot.
Too
so
hot.
during the day.
Yeah. I think I want to go to a race in the Middle East or Singapore or Japan or Brazil.
I'm pulling for South
Sarah,
Korea to come
yeah.
back on the calendar.
We're pulling for South
I'm
Korea.
into that. Okay.
All of them.
Yeah. Yeah.
We want
I'm
to go
in.
to all
And
of
maybe
them.
like 3 years, because that's when I could probably afford it.
Yeah. I need a trip to South Korea. I'm out of my sunscreen and I'm losing my mind.
Bring an extra suitcase for skincare to bring back.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah. Any predictions for next week? Is it next week? Yeah.
Lando win, maybe, at his home race. Did you love the comment to Oscar about his home race? And he's like, my what?
I thought that was your whole shtick, Oscar.
And he technically does live there, but yeah, I thought that was funny.
And he drives a McLaren.
Yeah.
So funny. He was all frazzled after suddenly ending up P2.
How did we get here? That's what he thought. Yeah, I think I'm pulling for Lando. It's George can be like P3 if he wants.
Lando, Lewis, George. Let's have a little fun.
That would be crazy. I would like to see Lewis back up there.
Yeah, he was
First home
looking
race.
quite good today. He was looking very racy today. And it's exciting to see him, like back up there with the boys.
Yeah.
Love
Great
it.
race.
We'll be back. And that was the Austrian Grand Prix. Yay.
Arrivederci.
Arrivederci.